We're back again on another week, and we have someone really interesting today with Amanda McNeil. She is she's an empowerment and what was the other word?
Resilience.
Resilience. And because I was thinking about the word resilience, right? And resilience is getting over a specific hurdle that might be in front of you, and instead of dwelling in something and dwelling in something really hard and being stuck in this mode, you are getting yourself out of it. So tell us something. Tell us something about resilience and what are ways to keep moving forward.
Mm. So, yeah, as you mentioned, resilience is about your ability to be able to adapt to things that adverse situations that might come at you in life. And so, being able to adapt to those different changes really depends on how you approach situations. So, if you're someone who comes from a very positive mindset and a positive place, you're usually able to be able to adapt to these changing situations fairly easily in a healthy way. But if you are coming from more of a negative headspace or a negative mindset, that's when you can get caught into, getting down into the situation and not being able to see your way out of it. So it's a really interesting approach to resilience, or yeah, being able to approach different situations, which is where your resilience comes from.
And then empowering people. How are you looking to empower people? And could you give us some examples of ways for people listening to us now? Because I've been speaking to so many different people in many different networks, and what's currently happening is that they are getting stuck in certain points. And that they're either getting stuck in the past or they're getting stuck in something that hasn't happened, which is the future, right? And what we sort of need to bring back to our main focus is bringing the present in mind. And when we sort of bring the present in mind, we're sort of like, are we sort of like looking at what's currently happening, and how do you move forward from there? What are the thought processes do we need to be thinking about? Because it's something that seems to be happening to a lot of people right now.
Mm. So there's a beautiful quote that I really use with my clients a lot, and it's been quoted by Tony Robbins: "Is you focus where your focus goes is where your energy flows." Okay, so what you focus on is what you get. And what I mean by that is, you talk about people getting worried about the future. If you focus on a negative place in the future, then that's where all of your energy goes, right? So you're going to start focusing all of this energy on something that hasn't even happened yet that you're worried about. So to bring, like you said, to bring it back to the present. But what you want to do is you want to get really clear on what your story is, what your vision is. So understanding, where do you actually want to go? As you mentioned, Sandra, people get caught in the past. They get caught in their old story, which is an unhealthy and not a very positive space to be if you haven't had a good experience up until this point in time. So what you want to do is you want to be really aware of what's going on around you, what is happening in your environment, what are the things that you're triggered by, and you want to almost rewrite your story. Because the beautiful thing about us as people is that we have the power. We have the power to make a choice in our life about
I
whether or
love that.
not we're going to move forward in a positive way, or whether we're going to get caught up in all of the negative stuff that's previously happened to us, and we take that with us in the future. And that's going to move us away from, the positive place that we want to go to. So I encourage everybody just to take a little moment and an opportunity to really think about, what was my old story? What do I want to let go of? What is not serving me anymore in my life? And let go of that. Think about the future that you want for yourself. Think about that new story that you want to rewrite for your life. And then you put all of your focus and energy into that new story. And I can guarantee you that you will actually start to see results that are a lot more positive for you, and taking you and moving you towards that new life that you want to have. And that in itself is empowering.
Your voice is actually empowering. I'm kind of in a trance. You've got this beautiful voice.
I love
It's coming through, and the passion's coming through at the same time. And look, this is the first time this is happening. Like, I'm going to have to bring this back. I'm going to disappear for a second while I fix some things in the background, but I'll be here.
So Amanda, I'll jump in here. So with resilience, we've seen, and we spoke a little bit the other day, and want to expand on it, burnout. And burnout seems to be a very hot topic at the moment, and people that are just they're stuck because there's deadlines, they're trying to get everything done, they haven't got enough time. What are some and part of that is to be resilient and doing some things that can help us get through that burnout. And so what are some, do you have any tips, tricks, strategies, a few things that people experiencing burnout, do you have any suggestions around burnout?
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. I do, because I have myself experienced burnout firsthand, so I can very much empathise with anyone who is going through that. It's a pretty shitty place to be completely honest with you. So if you are, or if you feel like you are experiencing burnout, I think the first thing to do is actually to be aware of that. It's to just press pause and actually acknowledge what's going on with your energy, what's going on with your mindset, where are you at? What are the things that are happening around you that could be causing this burnout? The only way that you can really get over burnout is to press pause, take a step back and take some time out, because trying to push through it, you are just going to continue to spiral because you're not thinking clearly. You're in a brain fog almost, because everything is kind of coming on top of you and you're just not able to see, I guess, past what is right in front of you, like right in front of your face. So being able to press pause and taking a step back and just taking some time out, even if it's just a few days, for you to actually just hit the reset button. Some tips and tricks in terms of dealing with burnout. Something that I did was I did a lot of self-reflection, and I did a lot of looking within. And doing that, I was doing a lot of journaling. So if you're in this headspace, you've got so many different thoughts. Well, I highly encourage people to try and get into the practice of actually journaling those thoughts, because once you have those thoughts out of your head and onto a piece of paper, there's something that happens in the stimulus of your brain that you're not weighed down by it anymore, because you've physically removed it from your brain onto a piece of paper. And then you can actually see it in front of you instead of it clouding with 1,000 different other thoughts, because you get into a place of overwhelm when you're burnt out. You feel so overwhelmed by emotion, so overwhelmed by not having control of what's going on, and if there are people like me who are a bit of a control freak, it's not a really nice place to be, So it's just being able to take a step back, because when you actually start listing it down, you're not as overwhelmed with everything because you can actually see it in front of you. So, for me, that is what personally helped me the most in terms of the start of my journey, dealing with that burnout, because then I was able to see things from a much clearer place. And with clarity, you can then start to work through the different things on your list and actually come from a, more of a logical place and sort of try and move the emotion from it a little bit and actually start to think logically, okay, now how do I overcome this? And, with burnout, there's all of those things like limiting beliefs and the negative self-talk. I could talk about it for ages, burnout, but there's so much to it, right? But journaling, honestly, is, I would say, the first step that you want to try. So pressing pause, taking a step back, having a break, and then just spend some time to start journaling everything that's going on with you. Anything that comes, emotion, negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, all of it. Start jotting it down in a journal.
I really love that. I love that Andrew, did you have anything?
No, keep going.
No, it was more like I really love that, because there's some things that I've even heard about this, that once you start listing some of the things that you're currently going through, you can sort of look at putting things on whether it's something you can control now, as well as what are the things what are the different steps you can do to sort of get you forward, and just writing things down is one of the major things that that can help a lot of people through many different situations. And unless there's some sort of a big threat, right, and you need to sort of really act right now, there's either the fear of flight in that sense, and that's what's currently happening in burnout, is that there's this big, huge amount of things happening inside of your body, and these are the chemical reactions of whether you need to sort of be in fear of something. And this comes back from it stems back from, you know, from all the things that makes us who we are as human beings. And where I'm really wanted to go with this is just some of the chemical reactions inside of our body that makes the changes. And then the brain fogginess is coming from the cortisol levels that's coming through, and it's hard to get rid of cortisol. And cortisol is one of the major factors in society today, because as soon as you have coffee, what you're doing is you're getting cortisol levels to boost up. And some of the things that's currently happening now is people are having coffee like early in the morning, and straight away you're activating all the cortisol, which is your stress hormone. And what the stress hormone is trying to do is, this is a high stress level, we are now in a certain fear and what's my body meant to be doing. But when you sort of come back with what you said, is you're empowering them, right, with writing things down in a journal. So I really love that. That's a great tip. And what are some of the things that you're coming through with people today? Like what are you currently coaching? Give us some steps and methods, not just methods, but maybe a few tips for people listening today.
Yeah, so I think what I've found with a lot of my clients who I've worked with, it's quite varied, right? But I think the reason why I'm really focusing on resilience is because what I've found through coaching all of these different scenarios is that there's this underlying current of people having to build up a resilience. They have to build up a strength to be able to manage and cope with what it is that they're trying to change about their situation. So I've worked with women who are, going through their first pregnancy, and they've had a freak out moment because their first trimester, they've put on all this weight, right? And so they don't feel like themselves in their new body, and they don't know how to lose the weight. And, then they start to freak out about, oh my God, what am I going to be like when the baby comes? So it's really just bringing them back to a place of center and just refocusing them on, what the shorter term goal is. They want to get back their health. They want to get back to a place of being able to lose some weight in a healthy and safe way. So that's one client. I've got a couple of other clients who are, kind of in their early 50s, and they're starting to head towards retirement. And they've all of a sudden had this freak out moment going, I hate my job. I hate what I'm doing, and I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life leading into retirement. I want to actually be happy in what I'm doing before I, kind of move into the space of, having to give up everything and move into retirement. So it's working with them to try and put a plan together about what they're going to do. How do they move into something that is more meaningful to them? And so that's why I've found that, being able to identify what your strengths are, being able to come from a strength-based approach in the way that you manage and cope and tackle all of these different things that are coming up for you is one of the key things that I've, sort of learned as a common thread that keeps coming up. Some of the other things that are coming up is, we are our own worst enemy. And it's
so true.
It is, right? It's those limiting beliefs, and it's that negative self-talk, and it's getting caught in our comfort zone. When I was thinking about doing this webinar, I had this thought this morning at like 12 a.m. And, right, sounded true. And I reflect on a saying that I used to say all the time, which was so damaging because it gets you caught in your comfort zone. It's better the devil you know than the devil you don't, right? We're basically giving ourselves permission to stay in a situation where we're not happy because we just don't know what's on the other side of that. To quote Tony Robbins yet again, success lives on the other side of fear. Comfort zone is a place of scarcity. We stay in our comfort zone because we are too scared to move just outside of that a little bit to see what's on the other side of that. But I can guarantee you, if you work on stretching your comfort zone, you start breaking down these barriers that are keeping you in a place that you aren't necessarily happy in. And, it comes out of fear. Comfort zone does not equal safety zone, right? So it's about just feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And do it in small steps, because every time you do something that's a little bit uncomfortable, you are creating a bigger barrier, a bigger comfort zone for yourself. So you're smashing down those boundaries, and you're creating a bigger space for you to play in. And that's when the good stuff happens. That's when success happens, and you realize that you are capable of so much more than you're allowing yourself to be by staying in this place of perceived comfort. So, that's another thing that has really come up as a theme with my clients as well. It's about everybody's kind of caught in their comfort zone. They're dealing with all this negative self-talk, and it's really working with them to break that down, reframe it. So one of the tips I would say is, when you have a limiting belief, when you have this self-talk that's keeping you stuck where you are, you want to try and reframe it. And when I say reframe, it is, if I'm saying to myself, I have to stay in this job because there's a pandemic going on and I don't know if I'm going to get another job somewhere else, I would reframe that to say, there are so many opportunities being presented right now because there's a pandemic, and there are so many new businesses that are happening that I can get involved in if only I can take that first step and get out of my comfort zone. So that's the tip that I would recommend to everybody watching today.
I've got the goosebumps coming through there, and I just felt that empowerment coming through your voice. I feel like I want to do something else. See you later, Andrew.
Yeah, no worries.
Empowerment isn't one thing. Empowerment is when you actually find the courage and you feel the fear and you do it anyway. All of that stuff is just so empowering, and you give yourself permission to be so much better than who you are today. And for me, like, I'm starting to give myself goosebumps just saying that stuff, right? Because it's true. I've lived it. I've gone through the tough times. I've gone through things that I've had to overcome, building my resilience. Chasing the fear, do it anyway. And I'm in a place now where I'm living my best life, and I want to be able to give that to my clients as well, because I know firsthand how it feels. And everyone deserves to feel this way, right? We all deserve
Absolutely.
to feel that way. So, yeah. But it starts with us. At the end of the day, we are the ones who can change this journey in our life. Nobody else can do it for us. It's about us.
You said exactly what people should be looking at. It starts with us. We need to make the decision to take that first step. And of course, sometimes it's that fear of unknown where you sort of like go, I'm on the ledge and thinking, I don't know what's actually on the other side. But as soon as you open the door and go, oh wow, there's greener pastures on the other side.
And isn't it empowering though, Sandra and Andrew, to say that right now, in this moment, I can make a decision. The choice is mine to make a decision on something that could change the course of my life for the better. The moment could be right now for you. It could be something that's sitting in the back of your mind going, this is something that I've always wanted to do. Well, right now, you have the opportunity to make a decision to follow that dream or follow that path and to change the rest of your life.
I'm down. Where do I sign? Let's do this.
So you've got a webinar coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, thank you. So I have a free masterclass which is coming up on April 20th, and it's at 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Yep, the link is just there, so you can register through Eventbrite on that link. So I'm talking about how to build your resilience and make a major change in your life. All of the stuff that I've been talking about today, but kind of taking you through some tips and tricks on things that you can do to get yourself to a place where you know how to start to build the resilience. You create awareness, so you'd be aware of what your old story was, what your new story is. You start to build an awareness for where you are right now and where do you want to go. And then you start to work on your strengths. What are those authentic strengths that we have within us, that when we are faced with challenging situations, that we can go to a place as I said before, a strength-based approach to be able to tackle adversity and tackle those challenges to move us forward to that life that we want for ourselves. Yeah, not the one that we're living now, but the one that we really want for ourselves.
Oh,
right.
I really love that's something a lot of people need to do today. Andrew, anything you'd like to add?
No, we're coming up on the 20 minutes now, so I'd just like to thank Amanda.
he does this to me all the time. Like, I think we can have further discussions about this.
Timekeeper.
Yeah, you're such a. You keep doing this to me. Okay,
what's
we're gonna
great
go.
is that there's going to be. We were talking the other day about like burnout. We can unpack that, and then we're going to have a larger discussion coming up in a few weeks, and we'll have Amanda come along. We're just getting the dates and people together for that one, so that'll be great, and we can really expand more on it in the future. But thanks Amanda for coming on.
Thank you, Amanda.
So it was so much fun. I loved it. Thank you.
I loved it as well, and we posted the links in the social media there, and we'll post it in a couple of different places. So please connect with Amanda McNeil, the Resilience and Empowerment Coach. I love it. Thank you very much. Again, see you all until next week.
Amanda.
Thanks, Amanda.
Thanks. See you later.